Hello everybody, welcome to part 3 of my 3-part video series where I'm sharing this mini book that I created. I'm shared in part 1 and part 2 the gold leafing technique that I came up with, and in this section, which is part 3, I get to share how we're using all the things that we designed with the gold leaf, as well as some beautiful embellishments and papers from Shimelle's scrapbook collection. If you've seen part 1, you will notice that this video does not show my completed front cover. In part 1, I did a beautiful gold leaf design on the front cover of my 4x6 We Are Memory Keepers album. And in this, I hadn't done it yet, and that's because I shot it last. But at the end, you'll see everything all finished. So here you can see I'm grabbing all my pieces and deciding what I want to put where. I used for that photo on the left, I had designed the words Long Beach in the gold leafing design and used the Martha Stewart gilding gold leaf paper to get that beautiful kind of oiled gold leaf look. Here I'm taking the page protectors that I'm using in this mini book, and you'll notice that there's some random sizes. I believe it's 4x4 pockets, 4x6 pockets, and then the We Are Memory Keepers 4x4 pockets with the 4 2-inch square inserts. So I'm doing that right now where I'm adding in the 2-inch photos into these little pocket sleeves. And I'm just going through and deciding what photos I want to put where with what embellishments. One of the really fun things about this project is that I only used a couple different supplies, and I used up almost every single piece that I grabbed for this project. I ended up using almost every single little piece of paper from the 3 12x12 sheets of chenille paper that I used, and I ended up using the Goodall, the Hopper, and the Ride. And then I also used the cork stickers and the dimensional stickers. And I just think it's such a fun idea and such an easy way to get a project done quickly because everything matches and goes well. And when you use large photos like this, I think it's a lot easier to make things kind of mesh well. But you can see here I'm taking and adding on that photo that we just saw that was on the back side of the one that's showing now. It was a picture of a bird, and it's actually a bald eagle that we saw on the beach. And I just used that beautiful Tell Your Story cork and put it directly onto the negative space of the photo. And I think using that technique is just really fun. I think it looks beautiful. And I'm just go ahead and attaching my photos and papers back to back before I put them in the sleeves. And you'll notice that I do that with all the pockets, these sleeve pockets, and I know a lot of people don't do that. It's just a personal preference I have. I enjoy doing that because I personally find that my photos and papers are less apt to fall out of the pockets if I adhere them back to back. For some reason, I think it stabilizes it more or something. Or maybe it's just the type of page protectors I'm using. But one thing that you'll notice too is that the page protectors I have this black spine, and the reason that they do is because I couldn't find any 4x6 page protectors, and I did end up ordering some, but I didn't get them in time to create this, so I had to kind of jerry-rig some page protectors I had and I kind of wanted everything to match and look nice, so I ended up using some black paper to cover up the spine of all my page protectors so that everything matched and kind of flowed and looked nicely. And you'll see once I put all these inside the album that the black was a strategic choice because the inside of the album is black, so it blends really well. And another thing that you'll notice is that those fun little cork stickers, I do this a couple times where I'll take two stickers in the same shape and adhere them back to back and then just stick them straight in the pocket. And I did that with the little cork hearts on this cute page protector. And I really have not had much of a problem with them moving around. Of course, I could apply some sort of little adhesive or sew through the center of it to keep it in place, but I didn't do that and I haven't had any problems with it so far, so I've been pretty happy with that. So here you can see I'm going through. I end up adhering the back, just that photo, to that piece that says Astoria and calling it a day. I don't add any embellishments to that. I have lots of embellishments on the opposite page, so I'm not worried about it at all. I'm going to take some more of the cork stickers and add them directly. That's such a cute camera. I add it directly on top of that 3x4 little journaling card there. And I'm going to take the dimensional stickers and again just putting stickers just right on top of my photos. I'm a big fan of doing that. And then I also, because I do love photography and I love photos so much, I do love for my projects and mini books to be very heavily photo based. So you'll notice that that's one thing that I really like about this format is I get to use a lot of full 4x6 photos, and I think it's a really great way to make them stand out and have everything have a really great design element to it without having to do too much thinking. And again, adding cork stickers just right on top of that beautiful gold leaf paper that that I showed you in the part 2, and then the brilliant cork sticker again underneath the bald eagle that's just hanging out on the beach. And this was such a fun trip that I took it with my mom and my little sister, and it was over Valentine weekend, and we went on a road trip to Long Beach, Washington, and the weather was just absolutely rainy and stormy and crazy. And somehow we ended up just having the absolute best time, and I have such wonderful memories. I ended up taking photos with my nice camera, the little 2x2 photos. I believe all those were taken with the camera on my phone, so it was nice to combine that. And then I also ended up taking some video, and I'll share a little bit more about that later. And there you can see I did the same thing that I talked about earlier, where I took the cork stickers in the same shape, so I had the two hearts and just attached them back to back and put them in the fun little 2x2 pocket. And then I just cut down that adventure card into two 2x2 squares, and you'll see how fun that looks to have that cut up and on the back side of this page protector. It definitely adds, I think it makes it a little more interactive when you have a large element cut up into two pieces. I think that looks so fun. And I also love that heart with the little see-through pocket. I think that again, the see-through stuff, the see-through pockets and everything, just add that little bit of extra something special that seems to be very popular right now. And here you can see I don't have a scrap piece that's going to back my photo. And that photo right there, the one of me and my little sister jumping, was taken with the camera on my phone, and that's why it's not 4x6, is because I printed it up the actual size that it came out of the camera instead of resizing it to 4x6, and so that's why I have some paper showing through And I decided to take the pattern paper and face it the opposite direction, which normally I don't think you would do that with the exact same paper facing the other way on the opposite side, but I thought it looked really nice, and I loved the fact that it said pretty awesome, even if the E's cut off. I thought that was super fun. And then I'm just adding the 2 for us 2 girls in the photo, and the C and the L are the initials for both me and my sister. So that's fun, simple page. And then here you can see, let's see, what am I doing? Oh, I'm trying to decide what 3x4 journaling card from the card apart sheet I want to use to back my photo with, because I'm going to use a 3x4 page protector. And I could not find any 3x4 page protectors, so I had to make my own. I don't remember exactly what brand this is, but again, I ended up taking a page protector that was a different size and cutting it down, and then just creating my own by adding my own paper, what is that called, like a spine or a base, so that it could easily move around the binder rings or whatever you're using. And let's see here, there's another 3x4 pocket, and that cute little design right there with the black and white QR code, that's so you can watch the video that I put together of all the fun little clips from this trip. We had such great memories from this, and it's really special to have that, to be able to watch on video. And one of the really cool things about the QR codes is I have an app right on my phone, I believe it's called QR Droid, that will scan QR codes, but it'll also create QR codes, which is, I believe, what I did use to create this one. But you just scan it straight from your phone and it'll pop up on your phone the video that you made. And so it's kind of a fun little interactive way of adding a video into your mini book or your project, because you could also do it on a scrapbook layout or Project Life. And then here you can see I kind of have the gist of my pages put together. I do end up going back and making a couple changes, which you'll see here in a minute, but I'm adding everything in and making sure everything's in the correct order. And you can see how nice that black spine blends in with the background of this, the inside of this mini book album that's black. And I'm going through, I decided to just switch those little chipboard pieces so that they were facing the opposite direction, because before the and was facing down and the lovely was facing up. So I switched that around, and I decided that this photo here of me and my mom from, I believe that's when we went to Astoria, which was really fun because that's where the Goonies movie was filmed. And I just loved that, seeing the Goonies house. That was such a fun thing to do. I thought it looked kind of plain the way that the photo kind of merged with the paper again, because it's not true 4x6, because I took the photo from my camera phone. And so I'm kind of meshing the photo with the background paper by adding just a little strip of the contact paper to my background, and then I'm going to add my gold leaf on there. And it just adds a fun little bit of extra shimmer, and I think it kind of merges the photo with the paper a little bit better. There are a couple other pages where there's the photo that doesn't quite fit, and so it is backed with a little strip of paper, and I don't end up doing it on any of those. This is the only one that I felt really needed it. But you can see how simple and easy that was. I just love adding gold leafing to scrapbooking, you guys. If you have not tried it yet, you have to try it. It is so fun. It's just so simple. So let's see, what other changes do I make? So that's for that page. And so for this photo, I ended up deciding that I just wanted to add in a little bit of extra color. So I'm cutting the word awesome out of this fun Shimelle paper. And I'm just creating a little pennant on one side, and I'm going to take, I believe, some foam adhesive and pop it up directly onto the photo. And that's it. I'm going to call it a day. I mean, you could decorate it with some stickles or glitter glue or something else kind of fun, but I like the statement that it makes with it like that. And I love the foam adhesive because it gives it that really great shadow. And one thing about this album that I really like is that because I do have like lots of cork and lots of dimensional embellishments, it's a nice kind of thick, chunky album. And it fits in this 4x6 We Are Memory Keepers album perfectly. Like, it's the exact, this spine of the album is the exact width that I needed for all my photos. It fits perfect. It's not too stuffed. It's not understuffed. Like, there's not any extra room. It just absolutely worked out great. So that's one thing that I was kind of excited about because I'd never really used like a legit album like this for a mini book. Normally I'll just use binder rings or a chipboard cover. So that's kind of something fun. And then you can see here, I kind of decided I wasn't loving the gold leaf, the arrow that I originally had on this cute little heart paper. I decided that I wanted it to be the traditional gold leaf instead of the Martha Stewart gold leaf that I used that has that beautiful little kind of oil spill kind of pattern on it. It was just clashing. It didn't look quite right to me. I'm sure it's beautiful, and I'm sure there's lots of people that would love it, but it just wasn't exactly what I wanted. So, and to fix it, instead of going through and buying a whole nother 12 by 12 sheet of paper, I just used one of the little scrap pieces that I had, and I cut it the exact height that I needed to cover up the arrow that was already there. And I added in my arrow, and now I'm going to attach it with, again, foam adhesive. And that's one reason that I also added the word awesome to the other photo with foam adhesive, is because I wanted there to be more than one section in this mini book where that was present, having a piece of paper popped up on top of another piece of paper. So, and you'll see the reason that I put that little plastic sheet down was because I did have adhesive on the back of my 4x6 piece of paper, and I didn't want it to stick to my desk, and so it stuck to that clear piece of plastic really well and didn't make my desk all messy, which was nice. So I'm putting that back in the page protector, but I'm going to go back because I decided to add some of these. I believe they're designed to be photo corners with the Shimelle dimensional stickers, but I'm using them as arrows or triangles, however you want to look at it. And I'm going to apply 2 directly to the photo, pointing to my sister, and then I'm going to take the piece out that I just worked on and apply a 3rd piece directly onto that. And then that kind of joins the 2 together, and I think it adds just a little extra something that's kind of fun. One thing I really liked about this collection was you can see that alarm clock there. It's just so perfect for so many different applications. Like for this mini book, that alarm clock I put on the page where I talk about in the journaling how it was eventually time that we had to go home. So I think that works really well. I decided again that I didn't like the gold leaf that I had put on that piece of paper with that beautiful little kind of oil pattern. For some reason, I just wasn't loving the look of that on that background paper, so I decided to peel it off and I'm going to take 2 of the 3x4 cards from the cut apart sheet, and I'm just going to go ahead and use those for my background instead. And I end up really liking the extra color that this adds. I think it just needed that little pop of yellow or something, but I ended up liking that quite a bit better. One good thing was that it was easier than I thought to pull the driving on the beach design off of my background than I thought it was going to be, and it just ended up working out perfectly. So there you can see I have my journaling down. Again, I took my journaling, the card to the typewriter. Now I'm going to go ahead, once I have that word beach on there, I'm going to go ahead and attach it to the back side of the arrow paper, which was on the opposite side, and it'll kind of hold everything into place. And again, I want to make sure I don't put things upside down, so I'm just turning it around to make sure that my journaling and arrow on the back side of the paper is facing the right direction. So I'm just going to go ahead and attach those 2 pieces on there, and then I end up adding, I felt like it needed a little something extra, so I end up adding some fun little embellishments on these little spots as well. So you can see I had one more of those triangles or arrows or photo corners, whatever you want to call them, left, and I ended up putting that directly on that cute little 3x4 photo. And then I'm taking that cute little chipboard embellishment and I'm layering it right on there, and I'm going to take that quart sticker that says Fab and put that on there. And it makes it a nice, a fun, chunky page, and I really like the way that this ended up turning out. I'm much happier with it like this, so I'm glad I went back and kind of changed it a little. And I think the last thing I'm going to do here is I have this tab punch, and usually I'll cut tabs out with my silhouette and just kind of do batch tabs, but I decided to go ahead and give this punch a try, and it was fun. I think it definitely was easy and it was pretty fast. And I'm going to go ahead and take what few scraps, that's all the paper that I have left out of all the supplies that I pulled for this mini book, or just those few little pieces of paper. And that's all I have left. And I'm going to go ahead and decide what papers I like, depending on which pages I think need a little tab. And I'm going to go ahead and create some fun tabs. And this will make it so my pages are easier to turn. And so I put it on some of the smaller pages, like the 3x4 pages, and I think I might end up putting it on one of the 4x4 pages that I cut down to 2x4. And you'll see that all I'm doing is just cutting a front and a back, and then I'm adhering them back to back. And you don't have to do that if you're using double-sided paper, but I wanted to be really specific about what colors we're showing, because it is kind of more of a, it's all about the colors for me with this mini book apparently. And so I took the 2 pieces, I adhered them back to back just with my regular tape runner, and then I take my adhesive, the Ultimate, and again, that adhesive will adhere to any surface that I've tried. So I went ahead and put some adhesive just at the base of that tab, and then attached it just straight on to the page protector, and it ends up drying and working perfectly. So here you can see I'm just adding a little bit to the base, and then I'm kind of deciding like if I want it on the top of the page protector or the bottom or the middle. And this adhesive does dry completely clear. So that works great. And here I'm deciding, do I want the heart showing? Do I want the red showing? And I'm gonna go ahead and add that one on. And I like that the hearts just add that little bit of extra sparkle with the glitter. And then that pop of red is really nice too. But again, like the purpose of having the tabs to make it easier to actually look through this album, I think is really fun as well. So I feel like the tabs kind of are multi-purpose. And then there's the 4x4 page protector that I cut down to 2x4. I added that in, and here's my finished album. You can see the front cover with the Jeep and the spine and all the pretty pages, and it's just the perfect thickness. And I'm just going to go through and show you the finished album here. So thanks so much for taking a peek, you guys. If you've watched all 3 videos, thank you so much. And I hope that you were able to get some inspiration, and this beautiful Shimelle scrapbook line was so fun to work with. And I hope that you have fun with the gold leaf tutorial. And I will see you next time I have a video up on YouTube. You can find details on this project on both mine and Shimelle's blog. Thanks so much for listening, you guys. I'll talk to you later. Bye.